Biomed Nexus. Daily updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Haisco licensed a preclinical type 2 inflammation small molecule to Sentivera, a new US company founded by Arch Venture Partners and Population Health Partners, for $75.89 million upfront in cash and equity, plus up to $1.46 billion in milestones, with worldwide rights excluding Greater China, which Haisco retains. 25 biotech IPOs have priced in 2026, 5 in August alone, the most at this point in any year since 2021, per Biospace, whose Leerink source called the market close to escape velocity. Kailera's $625 million and Parabilis $670 million set the records. Amylyx had still not announced the closing of its $500.2 million offering as of Tuesday night. The close was expected on or about August 21st, and the August 19th pricing release remains the latest item on its index. Eli Lilly launched Foundayo in the UK through private prescription per Biospace after MHRA approval earlier in August. NICE reimbursement discussions are underway, and Novo's oral Wegovy has been cleared there since June. Celares will cut about 100 jobs after losing a large, unnamed pharma customer, per Biopharma Dive. An appeals court rejected Merck's constitutional challenge to Medicare price negotiation on Monday, and a Maryland federal court dismissed AstraZeneca's suit days earlier, per Fierce Pharma. Executive takeaway: put the day's two biggest headlines side by side and they stop being two stories. The banker calling the IPO market close to escape velocity was careful to name the entry requirements, later stage assets, near-term catalysts, sane valuations. The moment a window reopens with a quality bar, everything that cannot clear the bar needs somewhere else to go, and that somewhere is the private newco, where early risk gets priced in contingent promises instead of public equity. Sentivera is what the sorting looks like in practice. A preclinical molecule no IPO buyer would currently touch, wrapped in a vehicle built by the same firms that just proved the model with Metsera and paid for mostly in milestones. The window is not open or closed, it is selective, and today the selection pressure became visible on both sides of it at once. Watch where the next preclinical Chinese asset lands. If it is another Delaware newco rather than a straight license to Big Pharma, the sorting rule is confirmed. Read full analysis deals. The Metsera playbook just ran again, and this time the asset seller kept a sixth of the company. Haisco granted Sentivera worldwide rights, excluding Greater China, to a preclinical small molecule for type 2 inflammatory diseases, the asthma and eczema territory Dupixent defines, for $75.89 million upfront in cash and equity, plus up to $146 billion in milestones and tiered royalties, per the company's Tuesday release. Sentivera was founded by Arch Venture Partners and Population Health Partners. The pair behind Metsera and Fierce Biotech reports the upfront splits into roughly $40 million in cash and $36 million in stock, handing Haisco a 17.5% stake in the new company alongside an $83 million Series A. The molecule cleared its China IND this month, which means the license transfers no Chinese human data at all, a detail that matters more than it looks given what Congress is asking the FDA to do about Chinese trial data. The pro-brief runs the deal through our pricing curve. Capital markets. The IPO window now has a bouncer, a dress code, and a line out the door. 25 biotechs have priced IPOs in 2026, 5 of them in August, the strongest count at this point since 2021 per Biospace, which cites Kailera's $625 million, Parabilis $670 million as the year's records, and quotes Leerink Equity Capital Markets head Jack Bannister, describing a market close to escape velocity. The bar he describes, later stage companies with near-term milestones, investors writing $100 million orders while staying selective, and 2 yellow flags that would end the run, preclinical issuers rushing out and valuation pushing. The same day, Fierce Pharma and Scrip reported Hansa Biopharma is preparing a US listing ahead of imlifidase's company disclosed December 19th PDUFA date. A Stockholm-listed company migrating toward NASDAQ before its US approval decision is our August 18 read in one sentence. The constraint is listing access, not capital. And note the record setter, Kailera is built on obesity assets licensed from China's Hengrui. The IPO window and the China licensing pipeline are one machine. The Tally Amylyx's close was due on or about August 24th. It is now the Tally's strangest entry. AMLX no closing announcement and no underwriter's option announcement had appeared as of Tuesday night. We checked the company's release index again, and the August 19th pricing remains the latest item, with the close expected on or about August 21. To be clear about what this is not, the stock closed at $37.46 above the $35.50 offer price. Offerings settle through mechanics that do not require a press release, and nothing suggests a problem. But this week's organizing question is which scheduled dates produce what they promised, and a company-controlled administrative date is supposed to be the reliable kind. The tally through Tuesday, 0 decisions from the week's dated events, 1 new date issued. Capricorn, holder of that new date, closed at $8.29, up 21.9% with no new company news, a second straight session of the market repricing a known expiry per exchange close data. Obesity, the oral obesity duel just moved onto the ground. Our tracked call said favors Lilly. LLY, Envo Lilly, launched Foundayo in the UK through private prescription on Tuesday per Biospace, following MHRA approval earlier in August, with NICE reimbursement discussions underway for NHS England. Novo's oral Wegovy has been cleared in the UK since June, roughly a 2-month head start. No UK price has been disclosed for either pill in the coverage we reviewed, so the first hard price signal will be a NICE outcome. The reason this launch matters beyond one market. Truist's Shrikripa Devarakonda made the case, which we have tracked since August 19th, that ex-US markets are price-sensitive ground, where a synthetic small molecule can chase price in a way an oral peptide cannot. The UK is now the first live test of that thesis in a major market, run by both players at once. Manufacturing infrastructure has binaries too. Celares just hit one. Celares will lay off about 100 employees after losing a large pharma customer it did not name per Biopharma Dive, with the chief executive telling Fierce Pharma he is resizing the company. We run an infrastructure over pipeline thesis, and this is its caveat in one line. A capacity business concentrated in an anchor customer carries commercial binary risk that looks a lot like clinical binary risk when it lands. Hold it next to the CDMO recovery forecasts and the radiopharma build-out, where the thesis still stands, but on diversified order books rather than single contracts. Quick hits. An appeals court rejected Merck's constitutional challenge to Medicare price negotiation on Monday, and a Maryland federal court dismissed AstraZeneca's suit days earlier, per Fierce Pharma. Teva's narrower bona fide marketing challenge, revived on appeal last week, remains the one still moving. MRK, AZN, Teva, Moderna closed at 158.83, up from 138.89. Monday, exchange close data on continued interpath repricing. Still no effect sizes and no Congress placement announced by the companies as of Tuesday night. mRNA Regan XBIO recovered to 891 after Monday's 24.9% drop. The company filed an 8K on the RGX 121 hold, and the FDA's full hold letter is still pending. RGNX Bausch + Lomb is advancing a dry eye candidate into Phase 3 despite a mid-stage miss, and Curium pressed its radiopharmaceutical supply resiliency case ahead of its showdown with Novartis Pluvicto, both per Biospace. BLCO, NVS Spruce. Biosciences plans a Q4 regulatory filing for an ultra-rare disease program after productive FDA discussions, per Fierce Biotech. SPRB still no Senate help hearing date for FDA Commissioner nominee Heidi Overton as of Tuesday night, 1 week after the nomination. In today's full analysis, be sure to read the full article for all the details, including the full Sentivera deal table and the 4-vehicle comparison pricing. What sellers now keep the empty date running tally table ahead of Friday's ratio. The oral obesity ex-US scorecard from MHRA clearances to the Q2 sales gap, a 14-question FAQ covering the day from Hans's PDUFA date to the Medicare rulings. Read the full breakdown. Biomed Nexus Pro-In. Today's Pro Brief. What Haisco kept that the reverse merger sellers gave away, and the number that says the market now pays more for biology than for a listing, the regulatory arbitrage hiding inside preclinical China deals, and which vintage of licenses sits on the wrong side of it. The 2 conditions that would close the IPO window, and why this week made exchange dates the only reliable dates in biotech, plus the coming catalysts, including a new December PDUFA date on the calendar upgrade to unlock institutional analysis. A window with a bouncer is still a window. The line just moves. Meanwhile, the only dates that performed this week were the ones an exchange controlled. What are you watching? Reply to this email. Read full article sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing. New Biomed Nexus signals weekly sales intelligence for life sciences BD teams. Learn more